Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 150. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this freak nasty evening, Wednesday evening, Earth date April 18th, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
I am so pumped up right now. That seems disingenuous, and maybe I'm just telling myself that, but I'm ready to go.
Well,
I'm 100% prepared for this.
I am glad, my friend.
Because 150 episodes is a pretty big deal.
It is a pretty big deal. We've been
doing
doing this.
It took us, 4 years?
Yeah. Yeah. We've been doing this a long damn time.
What would the average amount of episodes? How many weeks are there in a year?
52. Yes.
Okay, so 3 years would be about normal.
Yeah.
So we've gone a little over 4 years.
Yeah. We've probably missed, I don't know, 30 weeks. I think I calculated this at one point, and I don't remember what it is. So if you look, Brandon is actually behind me here. We're in two places at once.
Yeah.
Which it was just the best that worked at the time. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It's like you get you in stereo. But like the left channel is slightly smaller or slightly less loud than the right channel.
I can't do that thing where you move your head. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea. Like,
okay, never mind.
Like.
No, your whole neck moves. Like kind of Egyptian style, but walk like an Egyptian, but with your neck.
Like that?
Yes, like that. That's what I was trying to do.
This is what happens when we have video, people.
Yeah, we shouldn't have video because it's like we've never had video in our entire lives. We're just like, look at my tongue.
Yeah, we make faces. We can see each other in cam.
So if you're listening to this, we are live streaming it. So
yep.
I'm sorry for all of the
visual jokes that will happen.
Which is going to be a lot. But
yeah.
This will be up on YouTube, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, this will go up live to YouTube
so this one might be a better watch than a listen.
Yeah, it could be. So, how are you, Brandon? What have you been up to?
They released Morrowind.
Okay.
On backwards compatibility.
Okay.
On the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that.
That's cool. So,
yes.
How long has it been since you played Morrowind the last time?
Oh, years and years. The last time I can think of it, probably 8 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Is it still just like, is it just a remaster or?
It's not even a remaster. They just made it backwards compatible.
Okay.
So the graphics got a bump on the regular Xbox One and the One S. They got a 4 times boost.
Okay.
And then if I had a One X, it would be a 16 times boost.
Okay.
So, but I don't have the One X.
Because you suck.
Yes, because I don't have $500 to drop.
Or that. One of the two.
And I suck. I'm poor and I suck. I'm both of those things. But yeah, I named myself, I was trying to pick a random name, and I got what I thought was a pretty good fantasy name until I realized going over it in my head that I was going to talk about Morrowind before we started recording.
Yeah.
I named myself Porndar. And I didn't think about that when I named it. It wasn't like, I'm going to name myself Porndar like a joke.
Yeah.
That's just like the fantasy name I came up with was Porndar.
Uh-huh.
And I made no connection to the fact that it sounds like a porn-giving robot. Or like an alien from another planet who's just discovered porn or wants to bring us their alien porn. Greetings.
I have come. My name is Porndar. Please experience these many breasts that our women have.
I don't like what Porndar brings us.
Why are there so many breasts? I mean, I like boobs, but geez,
there's a limit.
There's too many.
Jesus.
There's a video joke. The Porndar is strong. So we've got chat going as well. So this is another good reason to check in on the live stream, because I can have a bunch of assholes saying a bunch of stupid things or not.
Is that what's happening
live?
right now?
Yeah. Meaty says the Porndar is strong.
Honda.
Honda.
So, what about you? What have you been up to
Geez.
besides setting this stuff up?
That's been pretty much it. I mean, I've just been setting up the stream for the most part and doing a little bit of stuff for stories and getting everything ready to go. That's what the last couple of days has really entailed. I thought my boss was going to come down, and so Monday was like cleaning up the store, and not that it needed a whole lot anyway, because we keep it pretty clean anyway, but don't want people coming into a dirty store.
Yeah. So he ended up not coming in?
And yeah, he ended up not coming in, so.
That's a classic boss move.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you own the place.
You can just say you're going to come in. And
yeah, I'm gonna come in probably Tuesday and Wednesday, and just not.
Maybe that's like his secret way to get you to clean the store.
Maybe. I mean, again, my store stays pretty clean, so I don't really worry about it too much. So yeah, there's that. And other than that, I streamed a little bit last night. I finished up Oxenfree.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of it?
It was good. Okay, so you have played through it, right?
Yeah.
Have you played through it multiple times? Is there multiple endings? What do you know about it?
There's multiple endings.
Okay, so there are multiple endings. I figured as much, and that's kind of what I mentioned on the stream last night, is that these indie games where there's a lot of screwing around with your brain and stuff. Was this a choice driven game?
Yes.
Okay, so there's choice...
like 4 or 5 things that you can choose throughout the game that affect the outcome of the game.
Right. So that having that choice, it's interesting to stream a game like that because one part of you wants to go and experience the other parts of the game. But at the same time, once you kind of get through the game, watching somebody play through it again seems a little boring to me. So yeah, I probably won't stream any different endings, but I might go through and play it again. It plays the
same way.
Yeah.
The choices that you make, it plays the exact same way.
Yeah.
It's just the ending scenes are different.
Okay.
Like, how did yours end?
So I got the repeat ending where it just cycles you back into the start of the game again.
Where you're looking at pictures and then it's like...
Yeah.
Or kind of shakes and then you're on your way back.
Yeah, exactly. So time reset for me.
Was your... I guess this will be spoilers for Oxenfree for the first fucking 10 minutes of Oxenfree.
Right.
Did your brother stay dead?
In what regard?
There's a way during the ending that you can get your brother to stay alive. You can affect the time stream enough that your brother comes back to life.
Okay, I don't think I did that.
It's after you get sucked you go into like the alternate dimension to try to save everybody.
Yeah.
And then you're in a big white room and you're talking to your brother.
Yes.
You can convince him to not go to college.
Okay.
And if you do that, because you're actually in the time stream right then. So if you convince him to not go to college and to stay home and stay with you,
yeah,
he never goes swimming and he never drowns.
Ah.
So then when you get the end credits, you've broken out of the cycle of repeating itself. And your brother is now in the picture too.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Pretty cool.
Yeah, because after I finished the first time, I thought, I'm never going to play this again, even though I love the game. I just wanted to read all the different endings.
Right, yeah.
And
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I don't mind knowing the other endings now that I've played it.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was fun. I also thought it was a little tedious. There were parts that were a little tedious.
I feel like the running around, like there was, you have a point where you can actually, your character will actually run, but it's just a hearty jaunt.
Yeah.
It's not much more than that. So it gets kind of slow moving around the map. That was tedious for me.
Especially the woods. The woods were the part where I was like, oh my God, you got to speed this up a little bit, game.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, other than that, after I finished up that, I played some more Quantum Conundrum. I was cruising through levels then, and then I kind of crashed out after about 4 hours of streaming. So
yeah, I was hoping to catch you streaming, but you started later than I was.
Yeah, I started at 11 o'clock, and that's just at that time where you're kind of like...
getting ready for bed.
For bed. You usually don't stick around long if you're still up.
Yeah, I mean, I typically put on something on YouTube.
Right.
It's just with Twitch, I want to interact with you. I don't want to just lurk.
Yeah.
So...
oh, baby, just lurk. It's cool.
Baby, it's cool. You
lurk
can just lurk.
I've had aggravating emails between me and Twitch because I'm still not the stream itself is still not affiliated, which to me affiliation is not a huge deal. You know, it's not like being partnered where a lot of your income comes from people subbing to you for, you know, weeks or I mean months or years on end. All of that comes along with it. I think you get a better cut. I don't know. I haven't looked too much of it, but it's the principle of the thing because, you know, there are a lot of groups of streamers out there who will gather up and they'll help get each other to affiliate.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's cool. That's great. That's no big deal. That's a wonderful thing. They get really excited about it. But the big scheme of things, affiliate isn't really that big of a deal. It's not a super hard thing to get. But what's frustrating is when you get into the system recognizing that you are affiliated. You fill out your tax information, you finish your onboarding process, and then nothing happens. You don't get anything. And it's incredibly frustrating because this is the 18th of April, and I got approved April 1st.
Wow.
Whereas many of the people who I have been streaming with and or talking to and watching their streams and helping them out while they help me out and all of that, many of them have gotten their affiliate and they were able to pop it and get it done.
Just immediately?
Yep, mediocre included in the chat room. So
could Twitch just think we're garbage?
I mean, that's possible.
They're just like, Jason Twitch, CEO of Twitch, is just like, I'm sorry, Remington, I've watched and I just can't agree with it.
Nope, can't get behind it.
No,
it's
sir,
just,
I don't like it.
I don't care how good your content is. I don't like the cut of your jib.
He slowly traveled back in time.
I don't like the cut of your jib.
Traveled back more in time.
And became a little more Zap Brannigan-esque. Yeah. My God, Kip.
Just don't like it.
Just don't like it. So let's move on with some stories, Brandon. You want to get us started and make us sound intelligent and smart and things?
Well, I had a story to talk about where there was a group of women gamers who were creating a thing called the Bully Hunters.
Yes, I actually wanted to talk about this too.
Okay. Well, great.
Well, good.
It's like we planned it.
It's almost like this is a professional fucking show or something.
And what they were going to do is they were going to create this service where if you were being bullied in games, specifically Counter-Strike Go, you could contact the Bully Hunters. They would come into the game, harass the bully who was bullying you, and then leave a message, you've been bully hunted or something like that. You just got.
Yeah.
And, that was going to be Bully Hunters.
Okay.
Well, they did their live stream of it.
Right.
And it was a catastrophe.
Okay. How is it a catastrophe?
Well, people were immediately against it anyway because it was female gamers. So you already have that with people, you know, eye-rolly gamers who are like, oh, female gamers are trying to ruin games.
Right, yeah.
So you have that already. That's not the catastrophic part. Everything that they were streaming was pre-recorded, which I guess is a problem as far as Twitch goes.
Okay.
With people saying if you're going to live stream something and you say you're going to live stream something, don't play a pre-recorded video instead.
Right. I mean, they have a way to do that. It's called, let me look. Gotta love those live stream looky-loos.
They played it as if the video was live.
Right. But you can premiere something where you can upload a video and premiere it and play the video.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm coming across correctly. They presented it as if it was
Oh,
live.
no, I understand what you mean, but I'm just saying that there is an option for these ladies to, or this group, because I guess I'm presuming that they're all ladies, but
yeah, they were.
There is a way to actually premiere it, and it's a relatively new thing. But if they were, promoting it as a live stream, then yeah, they need to be live streaming it. It should not be a recording.
Yeah, they pretended it was live. They pretended, okay, here's our players who are all playing CS:GO. we're going to wait for one of them to get bullied, and then we're going to show you how it works.
Right.
So, it was actually kind of funny the way it's set up. It's like 3 gamers sitting at chairs, and then they're like, oh, okay, this person, and they give their gamer tag, is currently being bullied on CSGO. Let's get the spotlight on him. And they're like playing in complete darkness,
Yeah.
and then a spotlight just and shines on the middle person playing. Like, the production values were pretty good for as bad as it was.
Yeah. But it was pretty campy?
Oh, yeah, it was campy.
I got you.
And then they listen in on the game, and the male gamer who's harassing her, they went very over the top with the things he was saying. Not saying that people don't say this kind of stuff when you live stream, but I mean, he was saying stuff that I wouldn't want to say on the live stream.
Right.
Like, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Meaty has chimed in and said that there were other problems with the stream as well, that it was scripted and fake, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, and also, hi Schmo, she actually can't hear us. She said she doesn't have audio, but she did notice that you were wearing a tie. So Brandon has apparently, even though I kind of didn't fully remember this, Brandon always wears a tie on our multiples of 50 episodes.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I don't just wear a fucking t-shirt like some sort of schmuck.
It's a Dueling Ogres t-shirt though, Brandon.
Still, it doesn't count.
Listen, you can go fuck yourself, okay?
The just totally ignoring what you're saying.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I don't hear bad things about myself said.
Yeah, sure.
The kind of piece de resistance of the entire thing is they were promoted by SteelSeries, which makes headphones.
Okay.
And they're talking about how you can get into the bully hunter thing and how you can help. The whole time they're all wearing SteelSeries headphones.
Yeah.
Then at the very end, the lady's like, oh yeah, and if you want to figure out how to be against the bully hunters, just buy our special bully hunter headsets and you get the field guide with them. So that's
bad branding.
the whole bully hunter thing, you had to buy the SteelSeries headphones to get.
That's dumb.
Now the symbol for bully hunters, I got to give him credit, was pretty badass.
Oh yeah,
it was the female symbol, so the circle with the cross.
Yeah, and
then the circle of the female symbol was crosshairs.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But right after the stream happened, SteelSeries came out on their Facebook page and were like, "Look, we didn't know what they were going to do. We want nothing to do with them. We had no idea." Like reading their Facebook reply is hilarious. How much they're like, "Look, man, we don't know.
We didn't even know, man.
I don't even know these assholes.
They just got affiliated through CJ Affiliates. We didn't even know, man. We just approved them."
They presented the entire thing. That's the hilarious part of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, SteelSeries promoted the entire thing.
You think that they would have at least... Businesses, this is a lesson for you. You need to know what people are going to do before they do it.
And also, one of the girls who was part of it had a history of, like, she called somebody the F word, the gay word.
Oh, yeah?
Like 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And people were jumping on her about that.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Oh, well, that
was 6 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've jumped down that rabbit hole before. You should absolutely hold somebody to a certain degree for things that they have said in the past, but also you have to allow people to grow as human beings as well. I have said things in my past that I absolutely regret.
I haven't. I've never said anything I've looked back on with regret.
But I don't believe you. But, I have grown as a person, and I don't use that kind of language anymore. So, not that I used it frequently anyway, because as soon as I would say the thing, I felt the remorse for it. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's no bueno.
Well, and also when you grow up in kind of a rural area.
Oh, Terry's here too.
Oh, hi, Sorry.
Terry. This is, I get sidetracked by the chat.
Yeah, I keep noticing you looking over. Meanwhile, I'm staring at the back of your freaking head.
Yeah, it's true.
Which I hate. I hate not being able to make eye contact with you.
I told you, just look in the camera.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Look, my eyes are with you now.
It's like we're Skyping versus you in front of me. Like, I can reach out and touch you, but if you're not looking at me, it's just
reach out and touch faith.
But yeah, to end my point, when you grow up in rural areas, you kind of say stuff growing up as a kid that you don't realize the
ramifications of over time. Yeah,
the
exactly.
levity of the word.
Yeah,
until later on.
Exactly. So it's just part of growing up.
So what did you have something with this story? Because you said you wanted to talk about it as well.
No, actually, that was pretty much right along there with what you were talking about there. I have a quote here from where did you get your source from? Do you recall?
Like the story?
Yeah.
Polygon.
Okay, this one was from PC Gamer. SteelSeries said in a statement announcing the end of the partnership, Bully Hunters pitched us a simple idea. Let's work together to fight online harassment. And because we believe that's a noble cause, we supported it. It's now clear that we didn't do a good job in understanding exactly what we were supporting, and we're sorry for that.
Yeah, I love... And I mean, they totally knew what they were doing because they had fucking special headphones made.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I mean, to that end... I could agree with SteelSeries just being on board to fight online harassment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And if that's all that they needed, then I guess shame on them for not asking what the plan was. You know, just here's our logo, just throw it on all your shit and go fight harassment. Good job, you know?
It seemed like a marketing grab more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I was curious of your opinion on this because I know you famously have said women shouldn't game.
We are live, Brandon.
I had to get one in there.
You are the worst type of person.
So I'm sorry. I was just wondering if your opinion had changed in front of the thousands of Twitch viewers we have right now.
Yes, he's right behind me. I'm blowing people's minds.
Oh, what? The camera's set up?
Yeah.
There's a camera you can't see right to Remington's right shoulder that I'm pointing at right here.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm pointing behind Remington. This is where the camera is.
Oh,
it's on a tripod.
Gags. Visual gags. Oh, I've got the vapors, Brandon.
You are finding way too much enjoyment out of these.
I love this.
Cameras.
I love this so much. I feel like a professional choreographer of things. Of video stuffs.
Would you want to do this all the time?
Pick Brandon's nose? Like, I mean, it's not hard. There you go, Shmuel.
What's that mean, Rem?
Just saying you have a real big nose, Brandon.
Oh, fair enough. I thought you meant something more mean than that.
Nope, not that. See, we can placate the people who are watching us at the time.
It's like
it's so exciting.
I say that we just interact with the people in chat whenever we want.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I was kind of torn between the two because we're putting out this episode for audio also.
Yeah.
But we'll still put it out for audio. But if you're listening again, check it out on YouTube too. We're gonna try to cover stories, but I don't know how great it'll be if you're not going to YouTube to see the visual gags as well.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like doing YouTube videos originally anyway. As I felt like we were splitting what we were trying to do between visual and audio.
Well, I mean, we can ask chat because we've had people who have listened to video episodes. What did you guys think about listening to what you could have watched online? If anybody wants to chime in with that while we continue with our stories. Because there is a little bit of a delay that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
So, in the meantime, Mediocre said the Bully Hunters might come get us for that nose comment. So, I mean, I didn't put any racial epitaphs along with it or
Bullyhunters.org. I'm going there right now.
Yeah.
You're about to get bully hunted,
Terry,
you son of a bitch.
Terry said, as long as you clarify what a chatter said, rephrase, or something, I bet it'll work for the podcast audio version only. So
fair enough. Thanks, Terry.
We trust wholeheartedly whatever Terry says.
Yeah.
There is no doubt in our minds.
And Terry, I'm not going to remove it right now because I've got a tie on, but I'm wearing the I Read Mace's Monsters Maces and Magic Outpost shirt that you sent me.
Nice.
Also.
Nice.
I might remove my clothes later. Possibly. It's a live stream. Who knows what happens?
Yeah,
Wait,
anything.
we actually, if I went shirtless, wouldn't we get banned from Twitch?
Yeah, I think that actually goes against the TOS.
Damn.
Males are also not allowed to go shirtless as a rule, if I remember correctly.
I think they had to have done that just for parody, right?
I think so. No one's wearing Superman today. It's his 80th birthday. And Terry said, that was from Schmo, and Terry said, sweet shirt, stay dressed.
You don't control me, Terry.
And Shaggy wants you to take it off, so.
Is that a winky face there, too?
It's lol is what the little chat.
They did say lol,
is.
so I feel like I kind of have to.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story.
Superman's 80th birthday, do you care?
No, not really.
Me neither.
I mean, he's old.
Yeah.
Superman, that would mean that he came out in
87.
That's not how math works. 1928? Would that be right? Or 38?
38 sounds more correct.
Because it's 18 now, minus 80 years would be 38. Yes. We have confirmation.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, math. Ding. So anyway,
You're not really a Superman guy, are you?
No, I'm not really a DC guy.
Yeah.
When it comes to DC comics, I was always a Batman fan through and through. I always like dark things, I guess. There's a dark side to this old mug. It's not all smiles and ska music.
Not all puppies and sunshine.
Yeah. Batman is certainly not greater than everything else or everyone else.
See, I don't like the Boy
Schmo
Scout aspect of Superman.
Yeah. The lawful good aspect of him.
Yeah, well, the problem with Superman is he's so predictable in how they have to write him.
Right.
And if they try to do something different with Superman, it's always like, oh, here's another universe where he's evil. And that's it. You either have super good Superman or super evil Superman. There's not really much of an in-between.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, I think that they have tried to do a little more in between since, but it just always comes off weird.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll out with a story, Brandon.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Roll out.
Okay. Since we're on the topic of kind of comics, did you see that the Russo brothers were talking about how everything kind of fitted together? And it's weird that your head is right.
I'm trying to see this. I'm trying to see the story.
It's the Russo brothers had recently talked about to Yahoo Movies how all of the Marvel directors were all kind of talking to each other. Just no. The visual gags. Oh
Yeah.
my god. You're right, we can't do this.
We can't do this every week.
You have to be
much.
at home for it.
Yeah.
The Russo brothers recently talked to Yahoo Movies about how the two, or they were in pretty frequent contact with all of the other Marvel directors in order to keep a consistency to the actual characters. And I thought that was a really interesting thing to discuss, because we're talking about movies that in the scheme of things, a movie like this itself, these blockbuster films have tons of money, tons of time being thrown into them, and they are a big undertaking by themselves. So having not only to take into account all of the stuff on your own movie, but having to branch out and talk to everybody else that's doing their own movies seems like a huge task. And I just wanted to know what maybe your thoughts on that would be.
I think it's why Marvel movies continue to do so well.
Yeah.
Is because they're homogenized. All the Marvel movies are like a big jug of milk.
Yeah.
Like, the cinematic universe is a big jug of milk, and each movie is just pouring out some into a cup.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be chocolate milk you stir in there. Sometimes it might be strawberry milk, depending on whether you want a Captain America Winter Soldier or a Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
But it's all comes out of the same jug of milk.
Wait, you would call strawberry milk
Different from chocolate?
well, no, you would call strawberry milk like Captain America?
No, I would call Captain America... I was using strawberry milk versus chocolate milk as an analogy for different genres of movies within the same Marvel universe.
Okay.
Like, Winter Soldier has an entirely different feel than Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, I get
Although I
you.
guess really Thor Ragnarok, if you really want to come down to it, would be more strawberry milk.
I would say Thor Ragnarok definitely more strawberry, and Guardians of the Galaxy also more strawberry.
Yeah.
That's where I would have went with. I still would have called Winter Soldier white milk.
Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's just me.
What would Black Panther be?
Also white milk.
Because it's just like in the same...
Just because I don't want to seem racist. Yep. Terry chimed in, yeah, but with Thanos, didn't Squirrel Girl defeat him? Not in a movie, but so how much of a challenge should he be in Infinity War? Brandon has talked about that actually in multiple occasions where Thanos has a tendency to sabotage himself.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that, Brandon? How that kind of works?
It was just in one of the comics. He was confronted. His plans just kept failing, and finally he was confronting himself. I don't remember really the whole story because it's been forever. But basically, he admits that he sabotages himself because he likes the chase more than anything else.
Okay.
And he feels like he's not worthy to have the full control that he should.
Ah.
Now, I don't know how much of that's going to transfer into Infinity War.
Right.
I feel like that's a little heavy. That's going to be distracting to put in the movie. I feel like Thanos is just going to be more of the run around with the Infinity Gems and punch people
Right, yeah.
kind of guy.
I mean, once you have even just a few of the Infinity Gems, you're pretty much more powerful than most people, aren't you?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, just having one of them makes you super powerful.
Yeah. It's weird.
They kind of have almost downplayed how strong they are in the Marvel movies.
Right.
Like when Loki has his staff that he can use to control people's minds with the mind. I think it's the Mind Stone.
Right.
He has in there.
Yeah, I believe so.
That is super powerful. But then the Vision has one of the stones, and the Vision isn't ultra powerful in the movies. I mean, he's still really powerful, but he hasn't really pushed himself to what he actually could do with that Infinity Stone.
Right.
So when you see Thanos in the Infinity War trailer punching Captain America and Captain America holding his gauntlet and like keeping Thanos from punching him while he has Infinity Stones, there's got to be more to it. I've seen people speculate that maybe Steve Rogers has the last stone, and that's why he can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's a possibility, but I think you're kind of right where they're just kind of downplaying the amount of power because you have to have that. And it's a surprise to Thanos. You can see the surprise on his face when Steve catches his mitt.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this puny human is holding me back. You know, that's my Thanos impression.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, thanks. Joe Russo went on to talk about the mixing of the directors, the way that Marvel does it. So this one's a tough sentence to read, for the record. I tried to read it earlier and didn't make sense of it initially.
Okay.
The way that Marvel does it is so it stays out of everyone else's hair, but we have a good line of communication to one another. So, for instance, when we were working on our film, Ryan Coogler and is it Taika Waititi? The other director for... When they were filming their movies, the Russos were filming... Thanks, Terry. He said good impression. So when they were filming their movies, we were working on ours, Joe said. As you know, movies evolve and change, so we stayed in constant communication with Ryan and Taika. Again, I don't know how to say her name. I haven't ever heard it pronounced. About what direction they were taking their characters in. So when it came to our film, they were chronologically... Or what... That was chronologically going to happen. and we knew what the essence of what the characters were. Sudden pause.
Yeah.
Stuff that gets edited out in
That was a heavy
in
sentence.
non-live.
That was a heavy sentence to parse.
Yeah, it was a hard one to take in. Same with Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp directors, he continues. The way, or they would come down and spend time on our set and get an idea where we were going with Infinity War, and that allowed them to craft their own stories. And again, that keeps personal authorship and keeps it personal to them. So, yes, awkward pause. Thank you, Meaty. That happens a lot when it's not live.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm also trying to keep myself sped up, which is a little more difficult. So, yeah. But it is.
Is that an ad that Precious lost 200 pounds? Wow.
Apparently. I didn't know that either.
Sorry, that was just distracting.
Yeah, sorry.
It's just Precious's face and then like a shapely body.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to cover Precious losing 220 pounds, but
I
good on
wasn't
you,
trying
Precious.
to cover it. I just noticed it.
Yeah.
I was just commenting.
So yeah, go ahead with something of yours there, Brandon.
Well, do you think that's to Marvel's detriment?
What's that?
That they're all keeping in touch as closely as they are?
No, I don't think so, because like the Russo said, I think that each director gets to put their own stamp on their movie, even though, like you said, it's pretty homogenized. Everything's pretty evenly mixed, and they try to keep a formula going. Excuse me. But I still think that each director is allowed to put their own little bits of flair onto it to make it their own.
Yeah.
So let us know in the chat if you agree or not, or if you think that the Marvel movies are way too homogenized.
I guess if we're still on comic news, I'll hit the last comic news story I have.
Okay.
That Juggernaut is potentially in the new Deadpool movie.
Yes.
The Juggernaut.
Yes. I heard that, or I saw bits and pieces of that. There was a story that came out where I guess during The Walking Dead, they had played basically the trailer again, but it was cut up into different things. So each commercial break, there was another bit of the Deadpool trailer.
Yeah.
So I was going to cover that until I read more into the story, and I was just like, nah, doesn't matter, not important. So
Yeah. I mean, it's cool if Juggernaut's going to be in it. Apparently there was a rumor that Juggernaut was, and then the rumor was that Juggernaut was cut.
Yeah.
But people have broken it down frame by frame, and it looks like Colossus is punching Juggernaut's face
So the question
at one point.
So the question is Vinnie Jones going to be playing Juggernaut in this one? If he is in there.
Is Vinnie Jones the guy who played the last Juggernaut?
Yeah, he was the one who he's the
He's the Juggernaut bitch.
what?
He had that phrase.
Yeah.
I'm the Juggernaut bitch.
Yeah. You remember who Vinnie Jones is, right?
I remember him as the Juggernaut. Oh,
From Snatch. He was originally a football player, a football player. Or was it football or rugby?
was it Bullet Tooth?
Bullet Tooth Tony. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Are you sure that's him?
Yeah. I clicked on him right from Juggernaut. He played He played Juggernaut in X-Men: The Last Stand.
No, I don't remember who it was, but there is a different actor who potentially could be playing Juggernaut, but this is all rumor and speculation at this point.
Right.
I saw the frame of it, and it does look like... Damn it, I keep poking my wires.
Quit poking the wires!
It does kind of look like Juggernaut's face.
Yeah. I had something and then I lost it. Meaty chimed in the chat. I like that they keep in contact because it makes the MCU more connected. They tell a story together but separate. It's like the Arrowverse but movie-wise, which I can get behind. And to that end, the Arrowverse is pretty formulaic as well. We talked about that 1 or 2 episodes ago when I did my my DC CW recap.
Well, and that's kind of what DC movies are trying to play catch up to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. He goes on to say, and the main thing is that I think it was 95% of the Marvel universe is the same dimension and the same time frame, so it helps to keep them bonded, whereas DC is multiple timelines or universes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that as well, because we talked about Supergirl being on like Earth 3 or something like that, while Flash was in Earth 1, and so was Arrow.
Which Bucky corrected us on. It's not Earth 1. It's apparently Earth 38.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I pay very little attention to Bucky.
You fucked up, Rem. You idiot.
It's so stupid.
It's Earth 38.
Why are you dumb?
You piece of shit.
Oh, so lead us on into something else there, Brandon. Brana Foo.
Illinois, the state of Illinois, is having a class action lawsuit against Facebook
Okay.
for its... Well, I fucked that one up.
Professional.
Whoops. Give me a second to let me read this.
All right.
Read this.
Just go ahead and read, Brandon. We'll sit here. We'll wait.
Okay, so the class action lawsuit has been going on for the last 3 years. A judge just okayed it to go forward. Facebook was trying to stop it from happening.
Okay.
There was a 2008 act called the Biometric Information Privacy Act that was passed in Illinois.
Okay.
Facebook's technology that tags people's faces. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Where you post a picture and then it'll be like, tag your friends. And a lot of times it can actually tell what friends you're with and tag them automatically.
Right.
That's a facial recognition software. That goes against the Biometric Information Privacy Act from Illinois.
Okay.
So it's a class action lawsuit that is going to go to court.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't sound like Facebook has a whole lot, has a dog in the hunt on it. I mean, if that just goes against the actual law, then that's something that they'll probably have to take out. Because it's not like they could do it state specific. I doubt.
Yeah, well, and it doesn't give you the option, or it gives you the option to opt out, but you're automatically opted in.
Yeah.
And apparently that hurt them during the class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because the lawyer for the prosecution said if we were allowed to opt in, that would be one thing, but the fact that we're automatically opted in is kind of a breach of this.
Yeah, and I agree. That's something that seems kind of annoying to me, is when companies opt you in automatically for stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just put it out. If it's really a feature of your website or what have you, of your game, that you really want us to be a part of, that's great. Put it out there. Put big flashy freaking CSS around it and make it something that we can see and we can opt into if we want to. But don't auto opt us into it. That's just, it's what's the word that I'm looking for? It's shady.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the word that I really wanted, but that'll work. Raging Mage Sage, thank you for the follow, by the way.
And I know that it's kind of treading ground that's been tread everywhere on the internet lately.
Right.
But man, those pictures of Mark Zuckerberg talking to Congress.
Yeah.
He looks like an alien, man, doesn't he?
Yeah. Somebody, I think it was in the meme section on the Twitch guys, the Lurk Squad Discord. And I think Mediocre actually posted it. It was different water-cooled CPUs, and it showed like a picture of different water-cooled CPUs and then Mark Zuckerberg drinking on his water. It was pretty funny.
Did you
somebody said he had very robotic kind of answers. And
oh, yeah.
I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't watch the whole thing of him talking to Congress, but there's this kind of a... It was Baby Hands? Okay. HXC Live is who Baby Hands is. There's a whole story behind that.
Okay. Does he have baby hands?
He doesn't, but when he streams, he has his cam on his keyboard, and the way that the cam is, it just makes his hands look really small on his
like
massive
baby hands?
keyboard. Yeah. So so you know how when you become affiliated, you can put your own little icons in for Twitch.
Oh,
So,
like your own emotes?
Yeah, so your own emoticons. Oh my god, words are hard. You can put in your own emoticons, and his is just baby hands. It's hilarious. But what was I talking about?
Man, we need to get affiliated now.
I know, right? You can draw all kinds of little things for our icons.
I totally will too.
What were we talking about? Mark Zuckerberg and talking. There were a lot of jokes about people talking, or about Zuckerberg talking to what amounts to older people who don't know how to use the internet.
Oh yeah, the people he's talking to are fucking ancient.
Yeah.
And they have no idea. Some of the questions they're asking, like, I saw one guy that was like, so could you give my information to Google and with my name? And he's like, well, that's not really what we do. And he's like, but if your website tracks, Facebook knows where I've been on the internet, right? Just like this complete lack of understanding of how any of it works.
Yeah.
You know, they just need one person that's like, okay, so you use cookies to track. What data do you carry? What data are you tracking specifically?
Right.
What data do you sell?
Right.
Like that kind of stuff.
They just, well, it's not that they don't, they only have like a half-ass understanding of it. Like they know that their information is out there, but they don't know how to phrase it. They don't know what cookies are. They don't know truly. They know that cookies exist, but they don't truly know what they are or what they do.
Yeah.
And I think that disconnect right there is difficult for the tech world to get around.
There's a major disconnect with older generations, for the most part, in computers.
And to that end, I mean, this goes to a broader spectrum, and I know that we occasionally talk politics, but we try to stay away from it. And this is kind of the pot calling the kettle black too, but if you want people who understand technology better, number one, the younger people need to get out there and get themselves into these political positions, number one. And number two, the younger people who do go out for these positions, you need to vote for them.
Yeah.
If you want people in there who have a better understanding of the current technology that we are working with, you need to, get yourselves out there if you're interested in that sort of thing and run for Congress. And then you need to vote for these said people.
We need a violent coup.
A violent technology coup?
No.
Just a regular
violent coup.
Meaty showed up. Well, one of them is 48. He should have got the gist of it. Terry commented, what, you think Congress is out of touch? Shaggy
Just
said,
a touch.
Shaggy said you eat cookies.
Fair.
Yeah. What kind of cookies does Facebook use? Are they chocolate chip or peanut butter? Does Facebook take into account user allergies when issuing cookies?
I feel like Facebook would use kind of a crunchier cookie that scrapes the top of your mouth so it can get the DNA from it.
Right.
And then when it's inside of your stomach, it processes that DNA.
Yeah, like
information.
Captain Crunch, cutting the roof of your mouth.
Man, I'd eat a donut with Captain Crunch on it.
I'd just eat some Captain Crunch right now. Good
Hell
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, macaroons. Do you like macaroons?
I can honestly say I don't know what a macaroon is.
I don't know. It processes the DNA and sends it through the emails in WhatsApp. There you go. Macaroons. I love the internet. Oh, yeah. So that's a macaroon, Brandon.
It's like two cookies with...
It's like two cake-filled cookies or two cakey cookies with a filling in between.
I mean, I'd probably eat it. I don't really like cake cookies.
I'll eat anything.
Okay. I don't like cake donuts. I don't like cake cookies.
Right.
I like my cake to just be cake. Sometimes a Fig Newton is just a Fig Newton.
Yeah. But Fig Newtons are fruit and cake, Brandon.
Yes.
Terry, back to more serious conversation. It takes money to run for office or support of one of the parties, which means you likely have compromised some of your beliefs to get to that level. So...
Yeah.
Do I hate... I don't know... how to actually say your name, Erdiana, so I'm going to say it like that. Do I hate freedom, or does Brandon hate freedom because he doesn't really know what macaroons are? Is that what you're asking? Because he does hate freedom.
Yeah, I do.
And it's specifically cake-based cookie-wise.
Ideally, everybody would just do what I said.
Right.
And a lot of times, what I would say would be to lay down while my boot is on your face. And then, I would have people bring me things. And
Do you think if you were a leader, you would be a dictator?
I think you'd have to be.
Really?
Mm-hmm. What am I going to elect people and then give them the option to violent coup me? Fuck no. I'm going to be that paranoid leader who's always... I would have a food tester for sure.
Right.
I would have a very small person always within arm's reach that if somebody came at me with a knife, I could grab them and move them in front of me. So they'd have to be light, because as a leader, I would just continue to get fatter.
Yeah.
So I would need somebody light but malleable, so I could kind of bend them. And,
I mean, if you got fat as a leader, though, you wouldn't be as quick either.
Yeah. So hopefully the person stabbing me is also fat. That's part of it. Is I would only let fat people in my kingdom, because it was just we just take it down a little bit, turn the volume down to 4.
So you'd be safe to be the dictator of America then. Oh!
Hey! Topical.
Let's move on.
All right. What do you got?
So, did you see that Sega was getting ready to throw their hat into the game for the mini consoles?
No.
Yeah.
Is this officially licensed Sega? Because I know there's already Sega ones you can get out there.
Yes, it's officially licensed Sega. In the States, it would be called a mini version of the Sega Genesis. For anybody living outside of North America, it was going to be called the Mega Drive. And it was announced at a Sega fan event in Tokyo over the weekend. The Sega Genesis Mini is scheduled to come out first in Japan, followed by a release in the US and other territories later this year, which was a post that they put out on Facebook that has since been deleted. So, what do you think of that? What kind of games would you like to see on a mini Genesis?
I mean, there's been so many of those released already. You could go to probably any dollar store and find one.
Yeah.
Already. I mean, some of the big ones, you've got Golden Axe, you have all the Sonic games, you have Echo the Dolphin.
Right. And that's one of the things is that they said that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 would probably not be included because of licensing issues.
What about licensing issues, did they say?
It just said, I guess they just don't own the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
I think that's the one that has music written by Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
But he, secretly wrote the music, so I don't know if that would count.
Right. So you don't really have any particular interest in them coming out with a mini system? Would it be something that you would purchase since you're kind of a system nut anyway?
It would be one that would be a good gift for Brandon. It's not one I would buy. Just like the NES Mini, just like the SNES Mini.
Right.
It would be one that I would enjoy if somebody were to gift it to me.
Right.
But I wouldn't buy one myself.
Well,
there's so many Sega collections already you can get for a Xbox One, for the 360, for the PlayStation, that has all those games on them already.
Right. And Sega is also bringing some games to the Nintendo Switch as well.
Really?
Yeah. So they're going to be releasing some classic titles to the console. The original Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously. Phantasy Star, Alex Kidd and Miracle World, Thunder Force 4, and Ground Game are some of the titles that they have talked about.
I'm familiar with half of those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I am only familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog and maybe Phantasy Star. I kind of remember that.
Phantasy Star is a cool series.
Yeah.
You might have played it. You had a Dreamcast, right?
I did have a Dreamcast.
You might have played it on the Dreamcast. There was a Phantasy Star for it.
Oh. I don't remember playing it, though.
It was like a third-person RPG.
Then probably not. I actually did not play a whole lot of RPGs when I was younger.
You don't really play a whole lot of RPGs now.
I'm getting more into it, because I would say that a lot of those indie games are kind of RPG-esque.
Yeah.
You know, on a smaller scale.
You need to play some Final Fantasy.
I disagree.
You need to load up a PlayStation emulator one night and play like 4 or 5 hours of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Now, I can get behind Tactics. I like Tactics.
Oh, you've played Tactics
Yeah,
before?
I've played Tactics. I just not anything else. I know. Everybody's like, Final Fantasy is a must.
Yeah, is that what everybody's arguing?
Well, at least one person is. Chat went off the rails for a minute, so I'm not going to catch myself up on it. We will continue with the show while you guys talk and judge me.
For not wanting to play Final Fantasy?
For not really wanting to play Final Fantasy.
Well, I don't even want to throw myself under the bus and say that Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy.
It is or is not?
Is.
Okay.
Which is one of the worst things to say. Granted, I've never played 7.
Right.
But I just can't get behind 7. It's too blocky now for me to play.
So your only hold back on 7 is the fact that it's the technology is just not there for you.
It's just so the bodies are so polygonal and everything they do. It's just triangles. Everything's made of triangles.
Yeah.
And I just can't get past it. And there's games I play that have shitty graphics. I can play old PlayStation 1 games. I can play Super Nintendo games, and that's fine. It's just specifically Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
Such a good story, but I just can't do it.
Meaty said, no, 13 is bad to say that's your favorite. 10 was good. So at least you got some backup.
Yeah, that's good. 13 with lightning was... I couldn't get more than a couple hours into it before I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Was Gauntlet on Sega, Shaggy asks?
Yes.
Yes. I think it was both, wasn't it?
I don't think Gauntlet was on NES.
Was it not?
I don't think so, but I also could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just say stuff without any actual factual information.
Come on, that's how this podcast rolls. We're
Yeah.
a comedy, not an information podcast.
As we read news stories.
Yeah, exactly. We read news stories and comment on them. So do you have another one to lay on us, Brennan?
Stranger Things just cast Cary, Elwes, and Jake Busey
Okay.
as 2 new characters for season 3.
Okay. That was hardly worth a transition.
I don't know. I'm holding off on the Art Bell dying story because I know you said we have some celebrity deaths.
We do have
So
some
we'll wait
celebrity
until
deaths, yeah.
We get all that done.
So do you have any...
I'm quickly running out of stories, Remington. We're kind of blowing through these.
Yeah, we are. And I mean, we're doing all right. We're like an hour and 12 minutes into the live stream, so I don't know. I'm okay with that.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I mean, the full episode would be like, we'd probably be looking at 50 minutes now, so
Yeah.
we're not doing bad.
Okay. I was wondering because I'm like putting little stars by the stories as I go, and I'm like, ooh, God. I run out of stories pretty quick.
That's okay, man.
Should I try to make that sound better? Remington, you like Stranger Things?
I like Stranger Things.
You like
Brandon.
strange things, Remington?
I especially like Strange Things.
What if they just got a little bit stranger, Remington?
In what way, Brandon?
Stranger Things season 3 just cast Cary, Elwes, and Jake Busey as Mayor Klein and Bruce, a journalist with a sick sense of humor.
What? Was that too much?
No, I think it was fucking perfect. It could not have been any better.
Guys, we're gonna get to the deaths. We're gonna get to them. I'm gonna talk about all of those people who are dead.
Are they naming dead people?
They're naming dead people. No, that's pretty exciting. I mean, I like Cary Elwes.
Yeah, you haven't watched Stranger Things.
I
so
have
it
watched
doesn't
the
matter.
second season of Stranger
really?
Things. I have not watched the first season of Stranger Things.
I mean, season 2 kind of catches you up. I don't think you need to watch season 1 if you've already seen 2.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to experience the wonder and majesty of Barb, but from what you have actually told me, it kind of bullshit.
Who, Barb?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in it for a couple of episodes and did very little.
Yeah. So Bruce Willis isn't dead.
He was dead the whole time. God, spoilers. You got to spoiler
Spoilers.
that shit.
Spoilers. No. All right.
Okay, here's my last story then outside of dead bodies.
Okay, go for it.
Billy Mitchell was stripped of his 3 high scores for using emulators instead of an original Donkey Kong board.
What?
Do you know who Billy Mitchell is?
Yeah, he was he's the lead score holder for
Donkey Kong
Donkey
also
Kong.
lead score holder for Pac-Man.
Oh, and Pac-Man?
Yep.
I did not know he had Pac-Man.
I think he was one of the first people to hit the kill screen on Pac-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
But it was this whole thing. He was confirmed through a place called Twin Galaxies.
Yeah.
That's who confirms your scores.
Yeah.
He submits videos. He doesn't actually do the game playing there.
Okay.
Man,
And go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm just all over. I'm trying to put this into words,
Right.
and it's hard because it's so convoluted. He sent in videos. People started to question why they've never seen him do it in person.
Right.
So they looked at the videos, and the way that the screen, whenever he goes to a new screen in Donkey Kong, the way the screen builds itself, like floors, ladders, Donkey Kong,
Right.
was more similar to somebody using an emulator instead of somebody using an original Donkey Kong board.
Okay.
So to get his high scores, it wouldn't be a big deal, except the high scores that he had won were on an original Donkey Kong board.
Right.
It was pretty much proven 100% that he was using an emulated board instead of an original board.
Okay.
So with an emulated board, you have the save states, so you can save scum.
Right.
You can basically, okay, I beat this level, save state real quick. Now I'm always going to be here.
Right. Says Meaty chimed in and said Todd Rogers would get the high score in Donkey Kong. I assume if he is bumped off.
He was actually the last score that stands for Billy Mitchell puts him at number 13.
Oh, really?
I think right below Steve Wiebe,
Uh-huh.
who was in the movie King of Kong.
Right.
Did you watch that documentary?
I did not, but I have heard of Steve before.
It's worth checking out. It was a really good documentary.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
So yeah, Billy Mitchell put out, I mean, the guy, I don't want to attack anybody for their looks, but
But you're going to? So
guy
you might as
looks
well
like-
commit to it.
he looks like a cartoon character. He's got like a big head
Yeah.
and he has like wind-swept mullet, and then he's always wearing like American flag ties.
Yeah.
And he has just kind of this like look the whole time.
Right. Just like that dweeby character look.
It's more like shitty. Like he looks like he's very full of himself in the way that he acts.
Right.
And in everything that he says, including King of Kong, he's the perfect villain in that movie.
Meaty said, I was kidding. Todd Rogers is the Atari Dragster champion
Oh yeah.
with a completely impossible time. Computers can't even do it. Okay.
Yeah, Todd Rogers was just stripped of his, like, it was a 30-year-old record that he had set.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So, wait, if computers can't do it, then how did he manage to do it? Did he just
Haha, he lied.
just lied?
Yeah, pretty
Just
much.
straight up lied? Huh. Well, I guess at the time you could do it.
I guess what he did is he just wrote into some gaming magazine and said, hey, this was my time. I think it was 5.41 seconds.
Yeah.
And they printed it.
Okay.
He just wrote in and said, this is the time that I've reached. So they printed it.
I gotcha.
So he's had that score ever since. They've
So nobody has
nobody
has bothered to do a redaction or anything
they
like that.
just took it at face value.
Yeah.
Well, they've started to look at it, and even with computers running perfectly in the game,
Yeah.
you can't reach that score.
That's
So the
funny.
guy's come out and he's been like, "Look, I don't know what to tell you. I did it."
If you're gonna lie, stick to your guns. That's
He
what
points
I
to
have to
the
say.
magazine that printed his score as proof that he reached that
Yeah.
score.
This is what I told him I did, so you got to believe it. It's
Yeah.
in print. That's like saying that everything that you find on the internet is true.
But yeah, just like with Billy Mitchell, just you keep lying.
Yeah.
He's like,
Just-
he said that the videos that people are showing were doctored,
Okay.
and that he has proof that he didn't cheat.
Ah, Billy does?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll see where that goes. No, Todd Rogers was pretty much like, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
It's what
didn't
happened.
cheat.
It's the thing. That's what happened.
But he also said he's getting death threats and stuff because it's the internet and awfulness.
Yeah, yeah. Which is not cool. I mean, I have no idea why it deleted your message. Probably just too many characters. Sorry about that.
Unless there was a link in it, I think.
Oh yeah, it was a link. Thank you for unbanning them. That's why Meaty's here. Yeah. And I think he was being funny, too. I don't think it was a real link. But anyway. So, we have lying old gamers.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's that. I mean, it's kind of sad because, you know, Billy Mitchell at the time, there was a lot of hype and a lot of excitement about that, but
well, he's the perfect villain. He really is. From the way that he looks to the way that he acts.
Yeah.
And if you see King of Kong, Steve Wiebe is trying so hard to beat this score. He goes to Twin Galaxies, he finally beats the score.
Yeah.
And right as he beats it, Billy Mitchell's friend comes in with a videotape of Billy Mitchell beating Steve Wiebe's score by like 100,000 points or something very small in the scheme of things.
Right.
And so Steve Wiebe has the high score, but not even long enough for them to put him on the board before he loses it to Billy Mitchell again.
Wow. Because
Billy Mitchell is telling him, like, you're not going to beat my score.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just the perfect villain in all of this.
That's annoying, especially when somebody is just submitting their stuff through video.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how you have to do it. But Steve was, like, actually going there in person to try to beat it.
Yeah. With
the judge watching. Because I think they told him that they wouldn't take a video from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember bits and pieces. Because I think I've seen some of it. Maybe you showed me at one point. I don't remember where I saw it. I think we've talked about it before. On the podcast.
I might have watched it one of the earlier times that we did the podcast 4 years ago. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought it seemed fun to go for high scores like that. Like it would be a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, just doing speed runs and stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole thing when it comes to, there's an area of live streamers and video gamers who will speed run not just standard games, but also like modded games and completely built levels of like Mario and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's all real crazy and interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, it's nuts to watch speedrunners.
Yeah. So let's move on to dead people.
Okay. Are we going to end with dead people?
No. I mean, we've got some other stories and stuff. So I'll lead off with the humans. Harry Anderson passed away. So for those of you who may or may not know Harry Anderson, some of you youngins probably won't. But the older people will. Harry Anderson was most notably known for his work as the judge on Night Court. But he was also a magician. He was also a comedian. He was all over the place in the early 90s, late 80s. And kind of a smaller fella, higher pitched voice, not like annoyingly so, but just really enjoyable to watch him perform whatever he was doing. And so he passed away in his home. Barbara Bush passed away. R. Lee Ermey, Gunny from Full Metal Jacket. He also passed away, 74 from pneumonia. I didn't see what Barbara Bush passed away from. She was pretty up there in years as far as it goes, though. So
just being old.
Yeah. And this one, sad, but not as sad as like losing a beloved performer. The last of the Queen of England's corgis passed away. And the only reason I kind of bring this up because it's interesting to me. The Queen of England used to actually breed corgis, and she would crossbreed them with dachshunds as well, and have dorgies. Yeah.
The way that they name dog breeds is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. 92, Terry says, I think it was respiratory related for Barbara Bush, maybe COPD. Makes sense.
It says that she had something called Graves' disease.
Oh, okay.
Which is an unfortunately named disease.
Yes. But going back to the Queen's, sorry, my brain completely shut down.
Yeah.
It's
going back to the Queen.
That's live for you. It's embarrassing. Going back to the Queen's corgis, this was the first time that the monarch has not owned a corgi since the Second World War. When she was 18 is when they first bought the Queen a corgi, and she had breeded them, and she decided Willow was the dog's name. That was the 14th generation, descended from Susan, who was the dog.
The 14th generation?
14th generation.
Jesus Christ, the Queen is old.
Yeah. So the 14th generation from her original corgi, who was purchased for her 18th birthday in 1944. And the Queen didn't want to have any of the line outlive her, I guess. You know, she didn't want to leave the pup to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, if she passed away, so she stopped breeding them after so long. In 2015, I think is what it was.
So she just decided
She just decided that she was.
I probably will die before.
Yeah, before
live a full life.
Exactly. So,
how long does a dog live?
Dogs
14?
dogs usually live 7 to 14 years, I think. That's a rough estimate.
So she's raising multiple generations of dogs at a time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. Because I was doing the math in my head, and I was like, that's 140 years of dogs. How old is the Queen?
It's not like when one dies, you get a new one, Brandon. There's a little bit of crossover like humans. Come on.
I thought she was a lich.
Well, she is a lich, but that's neither
the
here
crown
nor there.
jewels are her phylactery.
Yeah, exactly.
What would your phylactery be if you were a lich, Remington?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I don't know. What would yours be? So
Probably
I can
my
think
glasses.
about this. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So just something that you wear on you anyway?
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be. It would be a smart choice for a phylactery.
No, you wouldn't want to wear your phylactery on you.
But it's got to be something important to me, and my glasses are about as important as they possibly could be, because I'm blind without them.
Important or necessary? I think there's a definite difference that you can make there. I would say necessary, but what would it be a thing that's important to you? Because I feel like a phylactery should be something that you would use, or that would be really close to you.
My 3DS.
Okay. Do you play a lot on your 3DS?
Oh, I play my 3DS all the time.
Oh, I don't know what that said. Cliff, I'm sorry. It posted a link. I need to turn that off.
What did it?
Hold on. I think I can do this on the fly. There we go. Post that link again. Sorry you got... Thank you, Meaty, for unbanning. It puts it on a timeout for links. So repost what you said, Cliff. That was Cliff from the Kapow the Pop Cultured podcast. If I do remember correctly. It said KPP Cliff, so I would assume.
Yeah.
And thank you for grats on 150. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, they just celebrated.
I think this is the most number of people that we have had in the stream. So that's cool. There we go. Thanks, Cliff. And you should be able to put a link now too. You're welcome to plug your own stuff while we're chit-chatting here.
Is he Remington?
Yes. Even our sworn enemies are allowed to post their links in chat. Just as long as it's not porn.
Or especially.
No.
Unless you're Porndar.
Yeah, unless you're Porndar, then you're allowed.
That's okay.
Porndar! Sorry.
Greetings.
Greetings, everybody. It is Porndar. Ah.
If you've just joined the stream, that makes very little sense to you.
Just go watch the recap. It'll be fine.
Let's do it all. Twitch will love it.
So do we want to go ahead and wrap up what we have here?
What about Art Bell? You didn't cover Art Bell.
Let's talk about Art Bell.
Art Bell died at 72. Art Bell, who was the host of Coast to Coast AM.
Yes.
which started in 1988.
So for all of you older people out there who know, does Kapow wear ties while podcasting? No, I'm pretty sure they don't. But yes, Art Bell. So why is Art Bell important to you, Brandon?
Through a lot of my life before I got into podcasts, before they were really viable or people really started doing them, before Dueling Ogres invented podcasts.
Right.
And I didn't have podcasts to listen to.
Yeah.
I would listen to Coast AM pretty much every night to fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I never really talked about it because it was just a thing that I did. It wasn't like, hey, did you hear Coast to Coast?
Right.
But yeah, I loved Art Bell. George Norrie's pretty good too, but I loved Art Bell. And I love the weird conspiracy theories that Coast AM has.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it was both calming and you would hear some of the most fucked up stuff you've ever heard in your entire life.
Right.
Do you remember that recording of Hell that went around for a while?
Yeah, I totally
I
remember
first
that.
heard that on Coast AM,
Yeah.
playing it as if it were a real clip.
Oh, wow.
So they introduced it as like, this is a clip of what we think is hell.
Wow.
So imagine that coming through like the warbly speakers of an old radio.
Yeah, like 96K, just...
Yeah, it was terrifying.
I bet.
He also has, there's one other clip that gets me, and you may have heard this, where a guy from Area 51 calls.
I am sure in my life I have heard that.
And the guy's crying. Or he sounds like he's in a rush, and he's like, I have to tell you, here's what we're doing, and blah, 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 blah. And then he's talking, and then it just cuts off.
Yeah.
And not only does it cut off, but the entire radio station went off the air.
Oh, wow.
And then it comes back on, and Art Bell's talking, and he's like, I don't know what happened, but when that cut off, our entire station shut off.
Wow.
Yeah, creepy.
It makes you wonder if it was like staged or not, you know?
He swore it wasn't staged.
That's
on
crazy.
his end anyway.
Yeah.
There's been a couple people that have called since and been like, I was that guy, I was just fucking with you. And
Yeah.
I mean, more than likely it was somebody just calling and fucking with them.
Right, sure.
But just the fact that the radio station went down at the same time is pretty creepy.
Yeah. Wow. That is weird. I always love those, like, I remember I used to listen to, it wasn't that one, but there was another radio program, and I don't even remember what it was, but they talked a lot about the conspiracies and stuff like that. And it was just a show that would come on an FM station, maybe 106 or something like that. But they had all kinds of stuff like that, where they would talk about aliens and this and what are the cryptids?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Yeah, cryptids. That sort of thing. And it was always, yes, squeezing my brain, massaging my brain to get the thoughts out. It was always really interesting to listen to those and fall asleep to as well. But it wasn't art. It wasn't the Art Bell. I don't remember what it was.
I would sit, I have the perfect memory. I don't remember what it was on Coast to Coast AM, but I was sitting at one of my newer apartments, and I was staying the night there by myself because we just moved in. I just set up my PC, and that was it. There was no TV or anything else because I, set up the important stuff first.
Right.
So I sat all night, stayed up using a Game Boy Advance emulator to play Final Fantasy Tactics and listen to Coast AM just for hours and hours. It was so much fun.
That is cool.
And that's the kind of story I'll tell as a grandpa. When my grandkids are like, whatever, grandpa, and then flip me off with their space middle fingers and
right. Yeah.
jetpack away.
Yeah. That's how it'll all happen. That's how it'll all unfold.
Cool story, grandpa.
So do you think that wraps up the podcast then?
I think so.
Okay. So we definitely have some questions. We'll also do some questions from chat. Give me a minute to do the ones, if you do have any, give me a minute to do the ones that we have so far and the comments as well, and then we'll turn over to chat. So, if you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page like these nice people. Brandon, are you ready?
No. Not even close.
Brandon.
I was pulling up the question that we had. I didn't realize that I was pulling up the Facebook
Yeah,
stuff.
pull up the Facebooks.
All right.
Professional.
Why don't you vamp while I'm doing this?
I don't know how to vamp. I'm not a vampire, Brandon. I just play one on TV.
Just talk.
Talk about what?
Chat.
Chat? Chat, what are you doing? Recap from chat. Pena was in here. He has a hot tub.
Oh, sweet.
Pena is actually in, I don't know if he's still listening. Carl Cassell, apparently, of NPR and Wait, Don't Tell Me died yesterday, Terry said.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Jamaica? Yeah. I think you're right. So Pena is visiting Jamaica right now, and apparently the patio has a hot tub, so congratulations. I hope you had a safe trip down there, Pena. Thank you for stopping in, at least for a little while. Meaty said, Thai podcasting, is that a new challenge? And then Terry laughed. The only thing I can think of when he says coast to coast is Space Ghost, Meaty said. Shaggy, thanks for stopping in. Heading home from work. I'm just vamping until Brandon pulls up the stuff, so let me know when you have that.
Oh, I've had it for a while. I just want to see you vamp.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. You friggin' jerk. All right, Brandon, go ahead with those Facebook comments.
All right, I have a couple comments here. First one is from the Diamond Man, Stephen Hines, who says, over the last 2 episodes, I've learned that Rim favors the strong hand of discipline and sexy leather outfits.
Which is true.
He's got you pegged.
Yep.
Am I still welcome to stay at your place when I'm in West Virginia for cons?
Hold on. Let me switch back over to me for a second. You're absolutely welcome back to my place for cons and anything else.
Whoosh.
Okay, go ahead.
Missy and I saw Ready Player One. It was a very entertaining movie, but I thought the book was better, especially the audiobook that's read by Will Wheaton. We have a signed edition of Ernie Klein's Armada, but for some reason we haven't gotten around to reading it. I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but Mr. Klein lived in my hometown for a short time, then moved close to where my wife grew up. There's a teacher in Ready Player One that Missy and Ernie both had in non-Oasis schools. Rem, can you help me with my Comic-Con table sales pitches? Oh, and the next Dueling Ogres t-shirt should say, breasts are the penises of the chest.
To which I responded that no, that will not, in fact, be the next shirt from Dueling Ogres.
Viscount Terry W. Irvin II said, wow, Remington bleeped Brandon.
Yes.
Winky face. Yes, you did.
I did. At your request.
Yeah. Don't worry, with inflation, one day dropping $1,500 will be like dropping $150.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want dropping $1,500 to be something that matters.
Yeah. It's got to feel good, you know? It's got to feel like, yeah, I have that money to blow. Not just because I am now paid more, but everything has caught up to that, you know?
You gents should invest your Amazon affiliate income in a joint 401k for retirement.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll support you two gents escaping the nursing home together twice a year to share a Speedway drink while reminiscing over the good old days.
I think you're putting a whole lot of stock into what a 401k will actually do for us on that salary.
Jordan Love, the Kapow Pop Culture podcast, said an excellent discussion about why I'm such a terrible salesman. Congratulations again to the Kapow Pop Culture podcast also for celebrating 100 episodes.
Congratulations.
Even though we hate them and they're our mortal enemies, congratulations.
Yep. I mean, you can stop doing it any time now.
Yeah. You hit 100, that's pretty much you're good to go.
Yeah.
Look at what happens when you get to 150.
Yeah.
It's all downhill. We don't even care. Look at my tie. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Oh, it was a fucking tie. Whatever. Stephen Hines, the Diamond Man, also said, I fucking hate shopping at guitar stores. Almost every one I've ever been in has been staffed by arrogant, condescending assholes who are bitter because their dreams of becoming rock stars never came true.
That's harsh.
Yeah, that's harsh.
But I guess true.
Stephen Hines is living the life of a rock star, though, because he has an album out.
He does. He does indeed. An LP. Is it an LP?
LP's the shorter one, I think.
Okay.
Limited play and extended play,
Okay.
I think, is LP and EP.
I think they're probably old holdover terms. We also had one from Twitter. Mumphrey said the Santa Clarita Diet is a better show in season 2. Nathan is Nathan Fillion in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nathan Fillion is great head, is what he said.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion is a zombified head.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
zombified head in a vase.
Nice. I like that. Nathan Fillion is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
We also got a couple of emails from Lori, who was my... Oh, sorry. Sorry, Meanie. You need to catch yourself up to the Santa Clarita Diet if you're watching it.
Oh, what do you say? Spoilers?
Even though he said spoiler, even though that happens in like episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad of a spoilers. We don't care about spoilers here.
And then they all die.
And then everybody dies. So Lori emailed us. She has quite the lengthy question, and also shared with us a sorry, my brain shut down again. A link. So the link itself was, we'll go ahead and cover that first because I think it'll be fairly short but interesting to talk about. Scientists accidentally create a mutant enzyme that eats plastic bottles.
Yeah.
So I guess in China, was it? No, Japan. They had found an organism, a bacteria, that had naturally evolved to eat plastic. So I guess through trying to study this organism, this bacteria, they made its plastic-eating enzymes better to the point where if this technology is pursued, this enzyme could be used to break down plastics into their base chemicals and then have a true recycling of plastic where you can take these raw components and turn it back into any kind of plastic. So at the moment, plastics that we have now that can be recycled, any like regular clear plastics, if you recycle those, they become kind of opaque and they're stretched out and they're just kind of melted down and turned into something else. So you can never make a truly clear plastic out of recycled plastic. So with this new enzyme, we can actually... Oh, my ear just went dead. Sorry. Like almost tinnitus.
Oh, okay.
Like, only it wasn't the ring. It just kind of closed up or something. I don't know. Anyway, so the enzyme itself breaks it down into the raw chemicals that plastic is made out of. So you can recreate even clear plastics now. So that, I think that's what they are working on. About 1 million plastic bottles are sold each minute around the globe.
1 million a minute?
1 million a minute.
Wow.
With just 14% of those going into recycling. Which is insane.
Yeah.
Truly, truly insane. So, most of those bottles that are recycled are usually used in opaque fibers for clothing or carpets. So, what is it? Polyester? Is that the fabric that they use? It's a plastic-based fabric. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty exciting science.
No, it's an interesting story for sure. I love that they were trying to just see what it did and accidentally made it super strong.
Yeah, exactly. Terry said the quality of the plastic is degraded when it's recycled, which is true.
Yeah.
So,
but if this enzyme just totally breaks it down to its base elements.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you can get, an infinite amount of recyclings out of it as long as there's stuff to recycle.
And that's why the Earth will be fine long after we're gone.
Right.
Even if climate change causes the Earth to superheat and like half the things die and humanity dies.
Yeah.
The Earth is already getting these things, this bacteria that just eat plastic.
Yeah. So this is actually from an international team. They were tweaking the enzyme to see how it had evolved, but tests showed that they had inadvertently made the molecule even better at breaking down polyethylene terephthalate or PET plastic, which is used for soft drink bottles. What actually turned out was we improved the enzyme, which was a bit of a shock, said Professor John McGeehan at the University of Portsmouth, United Kingdom, who led the research. It's great and a real finding. What we are hoping to do is use the enzyme to turn this plastic back into its original component so we can literally recycle it back to plastic. It means we won't need to dig up any more oil, and fundamentally it should reduce the amount of plastic in the environment. He said about plastic, it's incredibly resistant to degradation. Some of the images that you can find with the pollution from plastics around the world can be truly horrific. It's one of those wonder materials that has been made a little too well. You're always up against the fact that oil is cheap, so virgin PET is cheap. It's so easy for manufacturers to generate more of that stuff rather than even try to recycle. But I believe there is a public driver here. Perception is changing so much that companies are starting to look at how they can properly recycle these. So he goes on to say about the enzyme itself, the structure of the enzyme. This is part from the article that she had linked us from The Guardian. The structure of the enzyme looked very similar to one evolved by many bacteria to break down cutin, a natural polymer used as a protective coating by plants. But when the team manipulated the enzyme to explore this connection, they accidentally improved its ability to eat PET. It's a modest improvement, he said, 20%, but that's not the point. It's incredible because it tells us that the enzyme is not yet optimized. It gives us scope to use all the technology used in other enzyme development for years and years to make a super fast enzyme. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that should really be full on explored, because if you do go on the internet and look at just plastic pollution and that sort of thing,
oh, it's crazy.
It is just the massive amounts of plastics that you can find in the oceans is disgusting.
Yeah.
And what it does to animals, it's really gross. So she drops some really thought-provoking stuff.
Yeah.
So she's really interested in a lot of things. So her other email, this is again from Lori. A few items to bounce off you both, she states. Understanding that often in the past, urgent questions raised about powerful new breakthroughs in science and technology have focused on potentially catastrophic disaster scenarios that turned out to be based more on fear than reason, when the questions that should have pursued were about more diffuse impacts. In relation to creating synthetic biology, an example, orb-making spider genes inserted into goats, which then secrete spider milk, give rise to which is a story that we covered.
Spider silk.
You're right.
Spider
Sorry.
milk.
Well, no,
that would be great.
No. It's a spider. It's a spider milk. It comes out in their milk, and you can sieve, because we covered this story.
Yeah.
You can milk the goats, and the spider silk enzyme is in the milk, and you strain it out, if I remember correctly.
That's super gross.
Yeah. Gives rise to no doubt that the widespread use of synthetic biology, particularly the use of self-replicating artificial life forms, has the potential to generate radical changes in the world. It's like reading an article all its own, including some that arguably should be carefully monitored. But I ask these questions that may seem less urgent, but may be more important in the long run. If we robo-source life itself and synthesize life forms that are more suited to our design than the pattern that has been followed by life for 3.5 billion years, how is this new capability likely to alter our relationship to nature? Are we comfortable forging full speed ahead without any organized effort to identify and avoid potential outcomes that we may not like?
I think there will need to come a point where we as a human race have to make these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it'll have to be the ones who are capable of doing this
Right.
who need to make these decisions. You see them kind of already, these decisions starting to be made.
Yeah.
Like Britain just passed these rules. I don't remember what they're called. That are like the 3 rules of robotics.
Right.
Where there's certain rules that a robot has to meet that an artificial intelligence has to meet.
Yeah.
But at some point, we're going to have a sit down and decide what direction we want humanity to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be hard to do with so many different countries and so many different forces arguing with each other, you know?
So what personal opinions do you have? Do you think that we should be manipulating nature?
Fuck yeah, I say synthesize it all.
Really?
Yeah. I say go full speed. I mean, if you view it as humans are here just like any other species, yeah, it might be catastrophic.
Yeah.
You know? And we might create something that just catastrophically destroys us, but that's what humans do. Humans create and destroy on such a wide scale.
Yeah.
In both directions. That's what we do. Just like elephants, you know, mourn their dead, and elephants have certain things they do that define them as elephants.
Right.
That's what humans do, is we create and we destroy.
But do you not think that we should probably at least keep a hold of a more natural view of things?
Nah.
Nah?
Nah, say.
Are you too corrupted by technology?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I was reading along with you on my smartphone.
Right, that's true. You were. For instance, self-replicating nanobots or gray goo and synthesized viruses or bacteriophages programmed to attack only targeted bacteria, leaving other cells alone. See, I think that kind of technology where you can do, or even live gene manipulation, which is still a thing that we're striving for.
Yeah.
Where you can go in and turn on and off genes that you have a predisposition for things like multiple sclerosis or any other genetic problem that may arise over time. You know, if your family has a genetic disposition for diabetes or cancer or something like that, then you can go in and just turn those genes off and and now you have more of a or less of a chance to get them or no chance at all.
But what happens when we lose that natural culling process?
That's true. You know, there's
how important is that today?
To me, no, Meaty, I want you to ask that question. I want you to hold on to it and I want you to ask it. I don't care if it's good or bad. Sometimes when you reach into a heavy-handed question like this, you need something to break it up, so it's okay. But I think that nature and the world has, kind of like you said, its own culling process. You know, the strong survive is the nature mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, those who work together or the strong themselves survive. And I guess to that end, our knowledge makes us strong. So should we continue to survive even though our bodies may become frail and weak? But at what cost? You know, if we destroy all of the things around us to where it makes actual life practically unlivable, is that worth all of the scientific why can I not think of the word, breakthroughs that we have?
Yeah.
You know?
She said,
go ahead.
How is this new capability likely to alter our relationship to nature?
Oh, I mean, I think that it absolutely alters it. I think the question is that a good thing? You know?
Yeah. Well, I think nature's always going to push back too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much we still don't understand. We might create nanobots that start altering our technology or altering our DNA.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that there's a new disease that's caused by nanobots. I mean, we're not just going to suddenly be in a utopia because we figure this stuff out. There's always going to be something we're pushing against. Mortality's final. You know, we're always going to be pushing against our immortality.
Well, yeah, but that's just it. I mean, we've come very close to cracking that code too.
Yeah, but our life is extended, and, you know, a generation, 2 generations from now, the normal life expectancy might be 90 to 100 years old,
Yeah.
Might be 100 to 120 years old.
Yeah.
You're still going to have people who are 90 looking and being like, God, I wish I could live longer.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get. I don't know if I want to get to 60. She goes
60.
Yeah. One final question: since we have the capability to clone human life, would you clone yourselves? And is there any thoughts about if that clone would then start a string theory shoot off of existence in part of your whole original self? And does that clone take part of your essence or soul on a split or splintered journey through space and time? So, number one, would you clone yourself?
No.
Okay, why not?
I wouldn't have a need for it. Why would I clone myself?
I would clone myself.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Are you
would.
thinking like clone born as a baby, or are you imagining like clone comes out full on Remington?
I would say clone comes out full on Remington.
Okay.
Like with all of my past experiences, not that I remember a whole lot about my life anyway, because I'm terrible and don't remember things and live in the now. But so yes, I would clone myself. Just because I'd like to have the ability to do more things, and I don't have the time to.
So you'd have 2 Remingtons
I would have
around at the house?
Yeah. And we would change off days.
Yeah.
So we were both experiencing the things that we actually want to experience, because I don't want to make my clone suffer with all of the bullshit that I have to deal with,
Yeah.
I'm a pretty even guy, so I think we'd have to trade off. And my clone would also think that, so we'd get along really well.
Yeah. That's a really well thought out answer.
Thank you. Is there any thoughts about if that clone would then start a string theory shoot off existence in part of your whole original self? I don't think so. Because string theory to me indicates a multiverse theory, and we would be existing in the same universe.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would, I guess I would have the ability to go get another girlfriend. So, the lives themselves would diverge, for sure. But to what end, I don't know. I still think that I'd probably stay beside of myself in that instance.
Yeah, you wouldn't really be jumping into a new universe so much.
Yeah, and I don't know if even that clone of myself would eventually want to break away and do his own thing. Because
you'd have to let the little baby bird leave the nest.
Yeah, I know, but that's just it. We would have different experiences, but that to me is the real question. Would those experiences change the way that my already adult self looks at the world? And would we diverge?
I'm sure. To a certain extent, for sure.
It's not like my clone or myself is going to become any more adventurous than I already am. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, but maybe your clone has to go on a trip for you, on a plane trip, and really enjoys it and decides that he wants to go on more trips.
Yeah.
Suddenly your clone is more adventurous. I think they would diverge. I think they'd have to. Okay.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
It'd be one that I wish I could test. That would be a cool one to test.
Let's get to cloning.
Let's
knock you up, Remington. Let's get you full of babes.
And does that clone take part of your essence or soul on a splintered journey through space and time? I don't know. As far as that goes, the agnostic part of me doesn't even know if there is a soul or not. So it can go any which way when it comes to that. I really have no thoughts on that matter. Could it? Maybe, if a soul exists. If it doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
Would I feel like I'm losing a part of myself if I were cloned? I don't know. I don't think so.
It depends on how the cloning process works, really.
Yeah, I suppose. So yeah, thank you so much for the very deep and thought-provoking questions. We appreciate it. Meaty, now we'll open it up to the chat room. If anybody out there still has their questions and they stuck around through that, let me know right now.
Let me go grab a drink real quick.
While Brandon goes and grabs a drink.
Nothing's ever gonna keep.
So, Meaty asked in chat, Have you ever wondered how many murderers you've walked by who looked at you and thought, nah, that's not the one? So, have you ever wondered that, Brandon? That's an interesting thing to...
I have not, but I feel like murderers typically have like an MO.
Yeah.
And I don't fit. No, actually, I was walking down the street in Chicago one day with a couple of friends.
Okay.
And we see this guy up ahead, and he is this like jacked up guy. Like this guy looks like he lifted weights constantly.
Okay.
So we walk past him, we round the corner, and then the two friends I'm with are like clutching their chests out of breath, and they're like, Jesus Christ, Brandon, you don't know how close you just came to getting killed.
Okay.
And I was like, why? What happened? Apparently, we passed this jack dude. He gets like maybe 5 or 6 steps past us and then turns around and looks at me with like hatred and murder in his eyes. And it just so happened that the friend he was with was like, it's not worth it, dude, and stopped him.
Oh, wow.
My other 2 friends saw this happen. I didn't. I was oblivious. I was talking about whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I almost got my ass kicked by a super, super powerful guy who may have murdered me. I don't know.
Wow. Why?
I have no idea. I have no idea what I did. I didn't look at him.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking to him. I was just talking to the 2 guys I was with.
Wow.
So it must have just been the wrong day and he didn't like the way I looked or something.
That's terrifying.
I was wearing camo pants. It was during my like real punk phase. And
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe he didn't like the camo pants. Maybe he thought I looked like more neo-Nazi.
Oh,
But I mean, I don't really look like a neo-Nazi and I didn't have a shaved head.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's crazy. No, I've never had an experience like that, so... So, like I said, that wraps up the podcast. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com for new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Make sure to hit that follow button if you haven't done so on the live stream. I think everybody else here has, so thank you so much for that. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review if you listen to us on iTunes or anywhere else you can find the podcast, including on YouTube, where this video will be uploaded. That about wraps that up for there. Is it? Yep. Okay, it is playing the outro stuff. So again, thank you guys so much. You can check the chat for all of the social stuff as well. If you want to support the show, you can always click down in the links below. We have donations, we have stuff, games that you can buy from Humble Bundle, and all of that. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night. See, that's a cool question. I like that question. I like it a lot. Terry, if you're still here, that's a real good meme. Oh, that's good. While Brandon is getting his drink and doing his pee, that's something that we have to deal with when we do the live stream, for sure, is bathroom breaks. He usually has to pee halfway through the podcast anyway, so he's doing pretty good. Good. So yeah, that's a very good meme, Terry. See, I LOL at things. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when. I wonder if I can play actual music in this thing. Sorry, setting up something on the fly while we're waiting for Brandon to come back. Hey, there he is. Look at that beautiful mug.
It's a cup.
That was lame. That was lame. You're lame. This whole courtroom's lame. I'm trying to look to see if, and I don't know that I do. I think I can do it right through Reaper, though. I think is what I'm going to do.
What are you trying to do?
Get the end music up. I forgot about it and forgot to prep for it. So that's okay. I know. I'm the worst.